in the game.
Coming at you live in the heart of Lincoln, America.
I say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
On air and online at theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Jake Bakoven and Enrique Alvarez Clearing.
Happy Wednesday to everybody out there. The Ticket First. I'm Jake Bakoven. Rico will join me momentarily. We're just getting a few things ready because Royals baseball set to take over the airwaves here in about 10 minutes. We will still be carrying the Ticket Water Cooler and our other programming on our stream. So go ahead and listen to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Of course, we're on Allo Cable or just the Ticket app streaming. We will be streaming on there as well. So if you want to listen to local programming, Husker football talk, then you can do it that way. If you want to listen to the Royals, turn on the radio signal. So very, very exciting stuff. Speaking of exciting stuff, and I hope that it happens today, the weather is going to have to work with us. But we are planning on, if you haven't heard, and we've done a pretty good job promoting it here in the last week, our first high school baseball game to be called here on the Ticket airwaves. Hope Shortridge planning to call the Lincoln Southwest and Lincoln East today at 4:30. I haven't heard from anybody yet that game has been delayed at all. So we will see if we can get that in. We will definitely have that for the airwaves. That will be very exciting stuff. But we'll see, because the weather is going to have to cooperate with us. Of course, the weather did not cooperate with Nebraska and Creighton last night. They had to call that game off, or I should say suspended in the seventh inning. The game tied at 4. For what it's worth, they will finish that May 9th when Nebraska makes the return trip to Creighton, which is interesting, again, because Nebraska going into that game 0-3 against the state schools of Creighton and Omaha, and 7-2 in the Big Ten. So a little bit upside down world there, you would think traditionally, but I suppose we all know the Big Ten, not necessarily a power conference in baseball. So that's just kind of how it's been. Rico, we can see on the other side of the glass.
Hey. Yeah, I'm just going to work on doing stuff over here and also talking with you. Baseball game got suspended, like you just mentioned, and they're gonna finish it when they go to Omaha. They're gonna start it in, what was it, the bottom of the 7th?
Yeah, in the 7th.
With the bases loaded and no outs.
Okay.
And they're going to finish that game. Then they're going to have a little bit of a break, and then they'll play the game that's scheduled regularly for whatever day that is.
Yeah, and again, we've mentioned it before, and Nick kind of was talking about it yesterday with the RPI even taking a hit from sweeping Northwestern over the weekend. It's going to be pretty important for Nebraska, or pretty much might be a one-bid league type of deal, this situation this year. So Nebraska might have to just win the whole thing in the conference play to get there. So very interesting stuff. And I suppose, that Creighton rivalry, one way or the other, it doesn't count toward the Big Ten standings, and maybe that stuff's kind of, maybe strengthening your resume is out of play there. But I think it's going to be important. Nebraska, regardless, is not going to have a winning record, I suppose, against the schools.
It's not going to help your RPI, but it will hurt your RPI if you lose that game. Yeah. So just win it. It doesn't. Again, it's not going to be in the Big Ten standings. It's not going to help you there at all. But bragging rights in the state, not lowering your RPI a crazy amount. So just something to help you out a little bit. Also, the softball game that was scheduled for today, softball was supposed to play Creighton today. That game has been canceled. No makeup. They're just canceling it.
And I was promoting too our Lincoln Southwest Lincoln East game. Have you heard anything on that?
Weather permitting, it's still on, but we don't know quite yet.
Okay, yeah. So we'll let you know if that changes. We're very excited about that. Obviously, I'm assuming if that does get delayed at all, we'll get another shot for Hope Shortridge out there in Lincoln East baseball. Again, taking on Lincoln Southwest, kind of what we're looking forward to today. So we've just got a few more minutes before we send it out to Royals baseball. So we're going to have to take a quick break here on the Ticket Water Cooler. But before that, I did want to quickly touch on I guess the story of the day broke kind of last night. We talked about a bit on the captain, but the Matt Rule versus Deion Sanders narrative that's kind of going out there. Pardon the interruption. Kind of maybe stirring this up out of nowhere because I'm not sure if if Matt Rule was taking a shot at Deion Sanders one way or the other. He was just saying that his program right now, he's focused on his guys. Of course, Deion released a video of himself dancing when the portal opened. So just a different approach to their programs as they're taking over in year one. And that's already been the case. Again, Matt Rule said before, he doesn't want cameras following them around and just to kind of make a TV show out of it where Deion Sanders is doing exactly that, getting as much publicity as he can off the field for Colorado. And I think too, part of that might be the program that they're taking over. I like I said, I fully expect Nebraska to get to a bowl game. They should have went through that week zero or not week zero, year zero, year one type of stuff last year. That was kind of the hope in switching Scott Frost and getting Mickey Joseph and some energy in the program. Obviously finished off strong by beating Iowa. And so, you kind of look at the differences in the program. Matt Rule wants it to be all about football. And that kind of fits his personality as well, but all about football. And for Coach Deion Sanders, it is, you're taking over something that doesn't have a whole lot of life to it, and with the 1-11 program and kind of using your celebrity to break out and try to promote that program. So I think we'll talk a little bit more about that next with Rico. But those are my thoughts on it for now. But we'll take a quick break here on the Ticket Water Cooler. We will be back again. If you want to listen to us, join us Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, on our app or on Allo TV. Otherwise, coming up next year on the airwaves is Royals baseball. We'll see you here in just a few minutes.
General contractors, business owners, property owners. The success of your business requires doing business with the right people. And the right people, when it comes to drywall, acoustical ceilings, and specialty products, are at Premier Drywall. And his crew will give your project the response and attention it deserves.
You get all of the attention to detail and quality that you would expect from someone who's been in the business for 30 years. For your new builds, build-outs, or renovations, reach out to Kevin at premierdw.com. Premier Drywall in Lincoln.
Biggest question people have is, how do I start the process? What is the process? I want to build a new home, but I don't know what the first step is.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
The first step is make an appointment. Come on into my office. Let's sit around the table. Let's talk about what you're looking for, what your needs are, what your budget might be. And let's come up with some answers on what we're going to build, where we're going to build it, and what it's going to cost. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done before school starts. Once you find a good lot, let's get it reserved, because there's a very limited number of lots in this town. And then start designing that floor plan that's going to be perfect for you. Next thing you know, we're moving dirt.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. But now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction material. They sell in bulk to save you money, buying anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. They deliver anywhere, and if you mention you heard this ad on 93.7 The Ticket, they'll deliver town for free through the month of April with some restrictions applying. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
You didn't really think we only did football pregame shows in the fall, did you? Join 93.7 The Ticket live from Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina at 8 in the Haymarket for the A1 Automotive Spring Game Tailgate Show on Saturday from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. All your favorite ticket personalities will be on site as we preview the spring game and wrap up the final football action until the summer. Join us at Tipsy Tina's on Saturday or listen live from wherever you are for the A1 Automotive Spring Game Tailgate Show from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. this Saturday. Water cooler. Water. And the TicketFM.com.
We're back here on the Ticket Water Cooler on a Wednesday. Of course, spring game just a few days away. We've kind of mentioned it. We have our ticket tailgate out there at Tipsy Tina, so we'd love to see it. There's going to be, of course, as you would expect, a lot of former Huskers there for the tailgate. I know, of course, our usual lineup is going to be out there. I think Amon Green's set to make an appearance as well. That's a big-time former Husker that we've added to the ticket family as of late, so I can't wait to hear him and his thoughts on kind of the spring game, maybe some spring game memories of his own.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be awesome to have Amon out there joining us along with the regular cast of characters for 93.7 The Ticket. So it's going to be a blast out at Tipsy Tina's for our spring tailgate show starting at 10:30 on Saturday. So head on down to Tipsy Tina's and join us at that time, and then make your way over to the spring game. You can still buy some tickets outside at the ticket office. I think they said they're going to be selling them for $10. So I'm sure there's still going to be some tickets available. So go there if you haven't bought them online already. Get your tickets and get in the spring game to see the new look Nebraska team. Just lower it all the way. No, don't turn it off. Just lower it.
No,
all the way.
It won't turn off.
Yeah, just lower it all the way.
That'll work. Yeah, and who are you most excited for the spring game? Is it Jeff Sims? Is it Herbie Husker?
I don't care about Herbie.
Oh, is that Herbie?
No, I don't care about blonde, blue-eyed Herbie. I don't.
Why not?
I just don't care. I think that jeans and polo Herbie was fine.
You do.
We did the overalls. I didn't. It's unnecessary. It's fine. You didn't need them. You didn't need the overalls.
Yeah, it's a throwback, though.
You could have put the corn cob in his back pocket or in his front pocket, whatever, and it's the same Herbie.
Dyed his hair?
All they did was dye his hair and his eyebrows. That's it.
I don't know. This logo doesn't have eyebrows.
Nope. Well, there you go.
Will Herbie have eyebrows? That's what I'm really interested to see on Saturday.
So, okay, for people that are actually like obsessed with this, maybe not obsessed isn't the right word, but people who actually care about the Herbie thing, why? Why is it so important that you have your mascot in overalls?
Well, I think more than anything, and I think it's going back to when Nebraska was good. I think that's what Herbie looked like when Nebraska was on top of the college football world.
I thought we wanted to look forward.
We not anymore. We're done with that.
We're done looking forward.
There are
We're
people
just trying
that
to go
say,
back.
Don't live in the 90s. Listen, your athletic director was a Butkus Award winner in the 90s. You had a head coach.
Yeah, good for him, but he's not that anymore.
But what I'm telling you is your program embrace the 90s because that's who you are, and that's what they should do. And I'm glad that they're.
Do you think Minnesota's embracing the 40s?
Well, their style of football, maybe.
I don't think so.
A little bit. No, but the 90s aren't that far off. I mean, it's not that long ago. I know the current kids now playing in college football might have been born in the 90s, maybe, possibly, probably not.
So do you think Miami should go back to
the 80s?
80s and
Miami should
early
never,
2000s?
Miami should never disassociate themselves from being the Miami Hurricanes.
They should just start paying people again. Oh wait, you can do that.
They should be the bad guy. Yeah, that's not the bad guy anymore. But they should be the bad guy. They should be the team that you hate. If you have that strong of a brand, and Nebraska does, Nebraska's brand isn't from 2003 on. It's
that's true.
The strength of it is from before then.
Why did it change?
Well, because Steve Peterson thought that Steve Peter, and they tried it a few different times with different brand changes, and a lot of that goes to selling new merchandise, and just trying to get some money out of it. But and that's what they're going to do here with the new Herbie. I'm
just
sure
move forward and evolve. It's okay. It's okay.
We tried that, Rico.
It's okay, but guess what? The mascot's not going to win you football.
Well,
it's not going to win you football games.
You're the one that wants to
kill
Lil Red.
You know what this is?
Think that it would help in the curse.
Because it would. You know what this is? This is more branding to sell more merchandise.
Well, right. That's what it is.
This is not, or to break a curse. This is not. No, it's Herbie going blonde and having blue eyes and overalls and a corn cob in his pocket isn't going to help Nebraska win football games. The mistakes haven't. I mean, some of it has been off the field in terms of some of the athletic directors that Nebraska has had, but the mistakes have largely come on the field, whether it be with the coaches, whether it be with the players, whether it be with the people that the players that have been recruited or the players that haven't been developed by whatever coaching staff has been put in place. The mistakes haven't been, oh, well, Herbie's wearing a polo now, and if he puts on overalls, all of a sudden we're going to win. That'll put us back at the 6 win mark. That's not really going to help anything that way. It's really just, get the right coach, get the right players, and play some football. And moving forward, evolving, you can go back and you can, go back to Nebraska's roots and bring your fullback back and just run the ball and run an option. You can do that if you want, and if that helps you in football games, then great. But I don't think that changing your mascot is going to automatically get you to that 6 win benchmark and then move forward.
Well, I mean, I don't. First of all, I don't think Blonde Herbie is thinking of a 6 win benchmark. That's not where we love.
But I'm saying
if you brought back Blonde Herbie and told him
not
we need you to get back
like
to the
low,
right.
Like that would be the new low. Like 6 wins would be the new low.
Blonde
with
Herbie
Blonde
would
Herbie.
puke if you
like
told
Blonde Herbie is
500.
like, look, you win 6 games and you have to you get better. Your first 6 should be wins, and then we get better from there. That's why I'm here. That's what it is.
Yeah,
not a benchmark. I didn't know the phrasing that I should have put with it. Now, obviously, that was the wrong phrasing.
But I mean, in all honesty, I think we know that the mascots do much as far as winning on the field. But I like it. I think it's again. I think there was this big movement, and there has been of people over the years saying don't live in the 90s, and these Nebraskans just live in the 90s. And I'm maybe one of the few that says you're damn right we do, because it was the best time, not just for Nebraska football, but basically ever. I mean, the 90s were great.
I guess they were.
They really were.
I was born in '93, so I can't really tell you how great the '90s were. I don't remember it. I was too young.
Well, it was fantastic, and
I'm sure it was. I've seen the videos. I've heard the talk. I'm sure it was fantastic.
Yes.
I have not experienced that level of Nebraska football.
Well, if we can bring the 90s back, even with Blonde Herbie and maybe a fullback or two, I think it'll give you a little bit of a feel what it's like. But I do feel bad, because at least I wish I was a little bit older, so that was was a little bit older to go. Well, it's a tough question. I mean, I wish I was a little bit older in this particular case.
Yeah.
One, so that I could live through 80s college football, which was awesome. Another was so that I could be a little bit older to understand and know what was going on when Nebraska was number 1. I was there, but it was like a birthright to me. I didn't really I wasn't like, oh, Nebraska moved up. It's like Nebraska should be playing for the national championship.
Yeah.
That's just how I thought, and I didn't really know any different. But in all honesty, the late 90s, I really remember well. And for anybody that didn't go through that, it's hard to explain what your expectation was when you were routinely a top 10 team. You were routinely expected to go for the national title. And you did lose. When you lost once or twice a year,
it was heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking, and nobody would go out, and it was just the whole next week you just have a bad taste in your mouth. Now, if Nebraska loses, it's almost expected, and you still go out because, why not? And you kind of forget about it 2 hours later because
it's look, we'll get back. We'll be fine. We'll get the next one. But back then it was if you lost, that was it. That was the end of your season because you're not going to win a national championship. And then that was heartbreaking for Nebraska back then. But now it's like you said, it's just, you lose, it's just another loss. And that's kind of what that's the type of, hey, this is going to sound weird. That's the kind of Nebraska football that I grew up on, where you lost a game and it was okay, you lost this one, but you'll get it back next week. And by the end of the season, we'll have 9 wins.
Yeah.
That was the kind of Nebraska.
Better,
yeah. I was also, conscious and sports conscious during Callahan era. And the end of Solich, kind of, I don't really remember that one all too well, but mostly Callahan, Pelini, those are my childhood Nebraska memories.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's you lose a couple of games, it's whatever, as long as you get to whatever wins at the end of the season. If you're in the top 25, fantastic, that's great. But I haven't been through the national championship or bust version of college football.
Well, that's and too, like, it was kind of a pet peeve of mine when people would say, like, younger generations will say that 2009 team was one of the greatest Husker teams of all time, because it really wasn't. It was one of the greatest defenses of all time, absolutely, in Nebraska football. But every Tom Osborne team had a better record than that.
Every single one of them.
Every 25 years, every single one of them had a better winning percentage than that 2009 team, which was great offensively or defensively. Again, I have no problem with saying that was one of the greatest defenses in Nebraska.
The ranking for that team gets higher every time the story is told. Every
right.
time the 1 second is put back on the clock. Nebraska was number 5 in the nation. All right, if they would have won that, they're in the national championship game.
They really finished like 14th, which was good, and the best that we've had for many of us. For many of the younger generation, again, the best that they've seen Nebraska do. So I understand.
Hey, Mike Riley was
why
in the
they
top
say that
10
was one of the best that year
for a week. Mike Riley was in the top 10 with Nebraska for a week.
Yeah.
If they would have beat Wisconsin, they would have been in the top 10 for 2 weeks.
That was kind of sad too. I mean, it was fun because they were like beating bad teams, and Oregon and Indiana were tossed in there, which were decent teams, but not great. And I just remember going to those press conferences, and every week it would be like, there'd kind of be that question, because there's this narrative out there that, like, do you guys really feel like you're one of the best teams?
And they're like, yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we absolutely do. and then, you played Ohio State and they weren't.
Yeah. Then you should have beaten Wisconsin. The pass interference that wasn't called. Whatever. We're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
Should have beaten Wisconsin. And then you just got the brakes beat off of you and the doors kicked in by Ohio State. And then it was like, oh, you're not one of the best teams in the nation.
By the end of the year, Riker Fife was starting the bowl game, and Nate Gary is no longer on the team.
Shout out to Riker Fife.
Shout out to Riker Fife, the rifle. Fun Husker memories regardless, and not as good, not as fun as the 90s, but that's what we're talking about. Bringing the 90s back. Don't have anybody be ashamed to say, you just live in the 90s. I'll say, yes, I live in the 90s, and they were fantastic.
So anyway, what I'm looking forward to in the spring game.
We did start with that, didn't we?
The offensive line,
and
the not the running, but the wide receivers / tight ends. The people who are going to catch the football, not get handed the football. Tight ends, wide receivers, the people that are going to catch the football. I'm really interested to see how the offensive line does in one-on-one situations against the 3-3-5 multiple blitzes. Also, if they send blitzes, and how the tight ends look blocking. Running routes, catching passes. Really, really interested in seeing Thomas Fedoni finally in action. Hopefully able to do a couple more things than I think he played in one game. Not last year, but the year before, towards the end of the season, but he was just blocking. I don't think he caught a pass. So really interested to see how he's moving. And if we can see like a glimpse of what might come this season from him. Arik Gilbert's big body out there, seeing what he's able to do, and hopefully they can get that waiver for him and he's able to play. And then just all of the wide receivers, every single wide receiver I'm interested in seeing, to see who is the crispest route runner, who's got the best hands. Really interested in Marcus Washington and Billy Kemp IV, because I think those are going to be the two best receivers on the team. And Xavier Betts, what he looks like coming back after a year off from football.
It's crazy there, and throw IG in there. There's lines from all across every position, whether it be new guys or how do they, the new 3-3-5 defense. It's just going to be a fascinating spring game, and I know, I try to build it up every year, and sometimes I know I'm doing it a little bit, and knowing that by the third quarter you're not going to really care too much. But I think even again into the third and fourth quarter, that's when you're going to see guys maybe putting on the scarlet and cream for the last time, a few of them. So, they're going to be battling for positions there. I don't know if when I say positions, I mean positions on the team. Scholarships. And so I think that will be intriguing as well. And so it's going to be a fascinating spring game. One more thing before we get to break, Rico, because I promised this, because I said I would ask you this going into break. What do you make of the Matt Rule, Deion Sanders stuff? Is this much to do about nothing? Did pardon the interruption, just need another topic?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's unnecessary. I'm not saying that it wasn't a veiled shot at Deion. I'm sure that's there. I mean, you're going to build some intrigue for that game regardless. It's two first-year head coaches taking over two bad teams. So there's going to be some interest there, especially with the added old rivalry aspect of it. But it's ridiculous. It's nothing. It's much ado about nothing, like you said. the transfer portal is here. Everybody's using it. Rule has his 17. Dion has his 40, whatever. So I get, Dion is using it to a higher effect than Matt Rule is, but everybody's using it. Rule was just saying, he's ready to coach the guys that he has on the roster right now, and Dion is trying to rebuild. I mean, I get it. He's trying to rebuild a team that won one game last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, you won one game. Something wasn't working. So maybe cleansing the roster of those players and bringing in some new guys, bringing in some new blood might help. So, and it's not like Rule's not going to have to, cleanse the roster before fall camp starts because you're over on scholarships. You got to get down to 85 from 98. So that's going to be a decent amount of people leaving the team. It's just something PTI needed some more eyes on their program, and mentioning Nebraska is a great way to do that.
Yeah, and I thought too, like, if Matt Rule did do that, on purpose or try to get headlines out of it or whatever, it would be an excellent PR job hiding the fact, like you said, that he also has completely brought. I mean, he's brought in 40 guys of his own. Now, some of them are less transfers and more freshmen than what Dion is doing.
Mm-hmm.
But to paint Matt Rule as anti-portal is pretty silly.
Yeah.
Again, his starting receiver is probably going to be, maybe number one receiver Billy Kemp's going to be out of the portal. Starting quarterback probably out of the portal. Center
number 1/number 2 tight end.
Yeah.
Center. They're probably going to look at some more offensive linemen.
Front seven,
2 linebackers.
Yeah.
A defensive lineman. Would they get a safety? I think their long snapper.
Yep.
There's a lot of people out of the portal that are going to play a significant in Merrill's team. So he's not anti-portal. He's just a little he's not as portal heavy as some people.
Yeah. Although I do also think with Dion, that Colorado camp, which they have their spring game this Saturday too.
There's on ESPN.
Yeah, on national TV. You can watch it, which
I'm going to, depending on what time it is. Let me see what time it starts.
DVR it.
Because I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Because this isn't whatever. This is kind of a shot. They look small.
They do.
They look small. And I'm not saying that they look bad. They just look small. Maybe they're faster. Maybe they're more athletic than other teams. Maybe they're more athletic than Nebraska. But they look small. If you get in a fist fight, if you get in a phone booth and you're trying to run the ball between the tackles and do stuff like that, I would have more faith in the other team than Colorado if you're doing that.
And the other team, not necessarily.
I don't even know who it is.
Almost anybody else.
If Stanford, they're still doing that thing, Stanford will roll over Colorado.
I don't know what Stanford's doing. David Shaw's no longer there. They haven't really done much without him, but we will see. All right, let's take a quick break here on the Ticket Water Cooler. When we come back, we'll welcome in Nick Sainert and preview Happy Hour. We've got a lot of storylines to talk about in, of course, the NBA, just all across sports. Little teaser too. I saw this one. I wanted to ask you guys about this. Winnipeg Jets forward Morgan Barron took a skate to the face last night and required 75 stitches.
Oh my gosh.
And he returned to the ice less than a period later to finish up the game.
Sweet baby Jesus.
So we'll talk about that and some other things across the NBA. They pulled 100. Here's a good teaser. They pulled 100. The Athletic did pulled 100 current NBA players. Who is the greatest of all time? We'll have more Michael Jordan, LeBron James talk. We'll give you those results coming up next year on the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415 or online at ambitionelectric.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it is Truck Month at Koppel, and we are pulling out all of the stops for this gigantic event. The lots are starting to fill, and we have some great deals for you waiting in Louisville. Brand new GMC Sierra Light Duty and new Silverado Light Duty trucks. All trim levels have up to $4,000 in discounts. That's right, up to $4,000 off all new light duty trucks right now at Koppel, so do not wait. Now is the time to buy a new truck, so stop on in or visit us online at koppelcars.com. You must have a trade-in and finance with Koppel. All deals with approved credit.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit, and you can check out our spaces before you visit in person with a virtual campus tour, an opportunity to see our campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, and Milford as you learn about our programs and areas of study. There are virtual tours of our learning centers too. We can even take you on a personalized virtual tour. Learn more on our website, southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
You finally finished your man cave in the basement. Brand new furniture, huge TV, and all of your collector's items. You're ready for football season. You were so excited until one bad rain and it is all ruined. Don't risk a flooded basement and countless dollars in damages when it can be avoided. Call John Henry's today for a free sump pump estimate for your home.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Guys, when I first started with Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, I weighed in at over 300 pounds. Now, less than a year later, I'm under 200 pounds for the first time since high school. I'm stronger, I'm healthier, and it all began with the Farrell's 10-Week Challenge. 10 weeks of kickboxing, strength training, and guided nutrition coaching to help you reach your fitness goals. Their next 10-week challenge begins on April 8th. If you're wanting to change your life like I have, head to theticketfm.com and click on Enroll Now on the homepage. Plus, get a promo code for a discount just for ticket listeners. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back. Cooler, it is time crossover where we'll welcome in Nick Sainert of the Happy Hour. Of course, Rico as well. He's pulling some double duties over there, so he's getting some work done.
You hear this on the microphone?
Hear what?
The music. Terrell has his headphones up. It's so loud.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when he plays Call of Duty, he turns it up too loud.
I think he's hurting his ears.
Yeah.
He needs to stop with the Call of Duty.
Is that something you kind of worry about over the years as a broadcaster? Is that maybe you're going to blow your ears out at some point? Certainly following Terrell, that might be more of a concern for you than
I think
others.
you just have to be careful, obviously.
Yeah, it's interesting. I did want to talk to this. I mentioned this to Rico and got a kind of interesting look from hockey players are just a different breed.
Oh, this is about the 75 stitches.
Yeah, 75 stitches to the face for Morgan Barron of the Winnipeg Jets last night, and he returned to the ice less than a period later to help Winnipeg win 5-1 over the Las Vegas Golden Knights. I don't know what I would be doing in 75 if I had 75 stitches to my face. I'd probably be out for a month and use that as an excuse to not show up to work or do anything. But also, I would feel incredibly bad for myself. And it's hard for me to even mentally think about going back to where you just got the injury.
Yeah.
and back out there, and it makes me even more terrified. I know this is very rare, but this is the second time I think this season that I've seen a guy leave the ice with a lot of blood coming off his face.
Well, I to relate to it, so there was a game I played in high school where, as the catcher, I didn't get my chin down to block a ball. I was a freshman, and I didn't get my chin down to block a ball.
Mhm.
It deflected off the ground and came up and drilled me in the throat.
Ugh.
Right in the Adam's apple.
Mhm.
And I shook it off the first time. Then the next
The
pitch,
first time.
The first time. The next pitch, I caught it.
Yeah.
The second pitch after, I missed it as well, and I flinched away from it.
Yeah.
Drilled me in the same spot.
Oh my goodness.
I got up. I could not breathe. I passed out.
Oh,
and I got
wow.
back up, and I went back into catch.
The coaches didn't
I went
take
over.
you
no,
out?
I went over to the dugout, and like there was a railing at the dugout, and I was just like had to catch my breath, and I like just dropped.
Did the
And then
coach see you?
They ended up they took me out for a moment, and then the next day they re-entered me because I was fine. I was fine.
It's fine. I just
But
couldn't breathe.
I had two giant welts, one on each side of my throat, from where the baseball drilled me. It was bad. That was the worst.
You're
experience
a
of my
warrior
life.
yourself. I mean, what's the next day like? Were you fine?
I know, like it hurt to swallow.
Yeah.
It hurt to swallow.
Did you guys win?
Yeah, we did. We ended up. I remember exactly the field we were playing against a team from Millard.
Yeah.
I remember.
Did you get a
the
hit
field, everything.
after that?
I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
I remember. I probably not. I probably struck out, but no, it was bad. That was way better than getting like cleated or hit in the groin or anything.
I saw a guy pole vault. I've seen pole vault's like not the most dangerous, but that one you see a lot of crazy things.
yeah.
Saw a guy go up, snap the pole, and like almost
man.
land like back on the track on his neck. He like barely
Oh, my
made it onto the
goodness.
pit. And then I saw another
Rico
guy.
here with HIS Auto Care at
That's
70th
not me.
and Van.
That's not right.
Wait, Rico.
Then I saw a guy go
wild.
up and over it, but he didn't throw the pole back. So I went under the pole, under the bar, and he like kind of landed on it in his midsection.
Yeah.
And then that was bad.
Yeah, that was for me getting hit in the throat off of a pitch or something, like off of a foul ball. I got hit in the throat a couple times.
You just protect your neck, man. What are you doing?
Well, it's like
You need to wear like a neck brace.
For real.
My problem was it was all freshman year, so like I wouldn't say I was scared of the ball. I just didn't know the technique.
You were scared of the ball.
Correct.
Protect your neck.
Yeah, and so anyway, I ended up I got hit in the groin and I got cleated so much, but like nothing compared to getting. I mean, it was basically back-to-back pitches, just
Mhm.
bang, bang, and I like slowly stumbled over to the dugout and like talked to the coaches, and then just dropped.
I'm surprised they put you back in the game.
I was fine.
I wouldn't have put him back.
I
in the
passed
game.
the concussion protocol. Like we passed.
I've been
everything.
spiked a few times, but nothing like that.
Yeah.
But no, I still don't think I don't know if I would have been able to go get 75 stitches and then come back into the game.
That's a lot.
Oh, I definitely wouldn't have.
That is next level.
I've never gotten any stitches, and so just like 2
Have you
stitches
not?
is too much. No, I've
Really?
lived a very like not like. I've done some.
any injuries.
No, I've done some crazy things, but I've never broken a bone. I've never gotten any stitches.
Huh.
Like I've jumped off of roofs before, and I'm good.
So
It's called tucking and rolling, guys. Figure it out.
So the only other time that I've only gotten stitches once, and I guess when I was playing, like they don't do stitches all that often anymore. They have this like glue that they can put in into things. There was some, I don't know if I still have the scar somewhere. I sliced my arm open on a grate, like one of those metal grates.
Yeah.
We were playing at Bellevue East High School.
Yeah, that place is dangerous.
And Bellevue East, and like
Place is a
in,
death
in
trap.
foul territory across like where the dugout's at, and then all the way around like the backstop. It's gravel. It's not dirt, or it's not grass. It's not turf.
Oh,
It's
okay.
gravel, like the hard gravel, and big chunks that you put on a driveway, basically out in the country. That type of gravel, and anyway. We had a foul ball. I went to go catch it in foul territory. My metal cleats slipped on the gravel,
Yep.
and I sliced my arm like all the way down, open on that grate.
Yeah, place is a death trap. I'm telling you.
And so we had to go to the doctor, and they like glued my entire arm, like the cut.
So they didn't put you back in that game.
No, I left.
Yeah.
I left that game.
No, I didn't go. Didn't go back in that one.
But like
Rub some dirt on
they
it.
just put glue on the entire thing, and then the next day I just wrapped it up and I played. I caught.
There you go.
It was
Man, you got some war stories from playing baseball. I didn't know.
I was not very good.
Baseball,
player.
not a contact sport.
Not contact.
I don't
Just
play
with,
catcher anymore. Do you have, by the way, I know some catchers, even just playing from high school, have like knee problems
You got
or
bad
whatever
knees?
because you got to
sit in this
knee and
position?
back. Knee and
Yeah.
back are horrible.
Yeah.
He's
Is
gonna
that
be
pretty much every catcher?
Yeah,
He's gonna be 35 and
every,
just like
every
ugh.
time I squat down, my knees pop. Both of them.
Hey, same. Mine's not from catching. It's from hurdling.
Yeah, yours are from hurdling though. Yeah.
I destroyed my trail leg knee, so my left knee just destroyed it on so many hurdles. It's busted open so many times that it's not like.
That's why I don't think
it like
hurdling.
it would
you
like
weren't
happen.
clearing the hurdles, right?
I was, but they're high enough. Every guy hits hurdles. Like that's just how it is.
I don't
So
think I could do that 'cause I would hit so many.
but I've busted it open so many times. I just have like this permanent scar, like in the one spot that it would always hit, and just it'd be like once every 2 weeks, so once every 2 meets, I would smack it hard enough to bust it back open and just start bleeding. And just that one time I did it at Metros, and like it was bad, and like blood was just like running down my leg. But the adrenaline's going, you don't even feel it.
Yeah.
I find somebody goes, "Hey, I think your leg's bleeding." I look down, and then the pain starts setting in. I go, "Ooh, yep, nope, we're gonna sit down here."
Yeah. No, like I don't think so. Here's a question for you, Rico. Like, would you, if you could go back, would you change not positions, but like events?
No.
See, I wouldn't.
I would work harder because I know. I understand now, and this is always what happens. So athletes, if there's any like kids that are listening that are athletes, just don't make the mistake of like thinking that everything's gonna be fine and you're just gonna get better as you get older. That's not true. You got to work hard to do it. Yeah. And I realize now that if I would have worked just a little bit harder and not got it in my mind that I didn't want to do a certain event, this is like the 400 hurdles, I actually could have been really good at it.
Yeah. No,
I was just telling myself, as I get older, I'll just get faster and I'll just work the same as I have every single year and I'll get better. That's not the case.
See,
You gotta work harder.
For me, it was just because the coach wouldn't play me enough. Otherwise, I'd probably be in the NBA right now. But.
See, if I could go back, I would not change a single thing.
No,
I was a catcher only, and I just want to be a catcher.
The one thing I would change is football. I would not have been a wide receiver. I would have asked to be a running back. Because my coach told me after the end of our senior season, if you would have said you wanted to be a running back, you probably would have started. It's like, I never said I didn't. I told you I wanted to get on the field, dude.
Did you have a passing offense? Did you catch?
Yeah, it was a mostly passing offense, but they didn't start me at receiver. I came in very sparingly, but I was the kick return, punt returner, and then I was also. This is going to sound very cocky. I was one of the better corners, but I'm 5'5". Yeah. So coach is like, if we get in the red zone, what are you going to do? And I was like, take me out if you don't trust me in the red zone.
It was always funny because
I was like, but guess what? If they throw to my side to get to the red zone, they're not getting there.
Now see, so it's also interesting. I have a lot of friends that are coaching high school baseball right now. And I'm learning a lot about how different you have to coach players, even from when I played 4, 5, 6 years ago, to how you have to coach them now, and parents and all this. And this is a giant rabbit hole.
Parents are so involved.
Like I'll have to tell you guys a story off the during the break, but like I can say this story because it doesn't bother me to have this in like the criticism or whatever. Like I don't even know if it's not even like beating me down. Like it's not even like I don't view it like that. So basically, our coaches were like, "Hey, listen, make yourself available. If you want to try a second position." This was early on, like freshman, sophomore year, or I think it was probably freshman year when I with JV. And I was like, "They're like, if you think that you could play a second position to get more playing time, let us know. Let's try it out." So I'm sitting there going, like, I don't know how it's gonna, I don't know how this is gonna work. If I should try a second position or not. And I was like, you know what? I'll try first base. Because like my freshman year, I was not the starting catcher. By the time my junior year came around, I finally got it. But like my freshman year, I was not the starter. And I was like, I'll try first base. So I like go into my coach or whatever, and I'm like, hey, can I play first? Can I try first base just to make, see if I can get a little more playing time? And he's like, yeah, we'll talk to their coaches about it. I'm like, all right, cool. So then the next Saturday at practice, I'm like, hey, did you guys talk about playing first base? And they're like, yeah, we talked about it. We just really don't think your skill set fits a first baseman. So we're going to keep you just a catcher only. And I'm like, oh, man. And I was like so sad because I'm like, I'm not going to play anymore. I don't want to, I'm not going to get to play on every single game. And so, but like I saw that, like, here's the deal. Sorry, parents. Parents will get pissed about that nowadays. Like I went home and I was just like, yeah, Mom, like they didn't let me play first base.
They didn't think I was good enough. And it's
they said that my skill set basically said that they don't trust me or want me at first base.
Yeah.
And I'm like I know I suck. I know I sucked at that time. But I was like,
Speaking of trust and coaches, one of my favorite memories, and this is terrible, but still, one of my favorite memories from when I was playing football at Bellevue West, coming off, I was returning a kick, had a wide open lane to the right, and I start going. I had some old cleats. I didn't buy myself some cleats, so I had borrowed some cleats from somebody. The bottom of one of my cleats just comes off, so it looks like my cleat's talking, comes off, and I trip, and I fall. I would have scored easy.
Huh.
And I fall. I get up. We got the ball at like the 24 or whatever. I get up. I'm walking to the sideline. My wide receiver coach, he doesn't even look at me. He's just kind of like clapping as I'm walking by. He goes, "This is why we don't trust you with anything."
Well, and so like here's the deal.
And I was like,
"What the hell?" No. So speaking of that, I'm sorry, Bach. I'm sorry. We're just
that's
taking
all
up
right.
your time.
That's all right.
And I
have your time.
Like I love that moment because like it's just like, you know what? Okay.
Like looking back, like I was pissed off in the moment, but now I'm just like, man, this is a great story that like I didn't like. Now I don't care, like whatever. And so anyway, it was my freshman year. We had 31 guys on JV. We had 31 players on, which is a lot for a high school baseball team. And so we had 31 players on the team. And so like the mentality is like, hey, next man up. If you're not ready to do your job, we got 18 guys that are ready to do it because you can only field 9 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, hey, if you're not willing to do your job and sacrifice your AB, whether it's your at bat and bunt, get a guy over, if you're not willing to do that, or if you can't do it successfully, guess what? We have 18 guys that are ready to do it. And so I was like, freshman year, it was, I mean, every single time I was in the game, it was like you were playing, not scared, but you were like, man, I just want to not get pulled.
Don't mess up. Don't mess up.
So I'll never forget. I was catching, and I'm still mad at my buddy for this to this day because I was catching him and he was pitching. And I was like, I got the signal or the signs in from the coaches in the dugout. And I give the sign or whatever. And he shook me off and he called, he wanted to throw off speed. And I wanted, the call was fastball. And it was like, freshman, when you're a freshman, you do not shake off the coaches.
Yeah.
Right? You do whatever the coaches say. Anyway, the guy, base is loaded, and the guy throws an off-speed curveball. The guy sitting on it hits one to like right center, hits a triple, base is clearing triple. We get out of the huddle or the inning, and our head coach comes over, pulls us to a side, and is like, "Where was the mix-up?" And I was like, "I called fastball." He shook me off, and my buddy had the guts to look at me in the huddle of 3 people and say, "Nah, he called off-speed." And the coach looked at me and goes, "What'd you call?" And I was like, "Coach, I called fastball, I promise." And he's like, "Well, you both are done." He's like, "You guys can figure it out on the bench." And I was like, "Come on, man." Man. Dakota Mulnerick, if you're listening, I know your dad Dave sometimes listens.
Dakota, he called fastball.
Dak, if you're listening, I called fastball. You wanted to throw off speed, and you got us both pulled out of that game against Lincoln Southeast our freshman year.
You're a monster.
I didn't play for the next 2 weeks.
You'll never forgive him.
I didn't play for the next 2 weeks because of that guy.
Man. Yeah,
I know his dad Dave sometimes listens.
I never
Dave,
had anything like that.
But no, Dak, if you're listening, maybe I'll just have to text you after this.
We had make yourself available for the 4x4. Always be ready. Never assume that you're done. Unless you've run all 4 events, never assume that you're done. Because if somebody pulls out of that 4x4, you better be ready. There was one time at a freshman-sophomore meet where I started eating a hot dog and a pop. And I'm sitting there. I was like, I got my hurdles, my long jump. Coach comes up, goes, 400, you're anchoring. I'm like, what? I'm in the middle of eating a hot dog. And he's like, let's go. And I'm like, oh, no.
Did it turn out all right?
Yeah, I ran a pretty good time. I threw up a lot after, but yeah.
Throwing up hot dogs.
I threw up a couple times after conditioning.
That's necessary.
Yeah, let's get back into promoting throwing up after practice. That's all.
Yeah.
No. Hey, the offensive lineman threw up last year.
There we go.
Yeah. That'll wrap it up for the Ticket Water Cooler. Happy hour coming up next.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best we can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. We're on the brink of spring cleanups for all of our existing customers and have limited spots left. We trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give us a call today at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of our designers and get ready for tailored